Passing through the gates where we are taken to a higher realm. So no one wants to hear all that toxic sound. The bell of our ancestors where it's felt. Passing through the gates where we are taken to a higher realm. So no one wants to hear all that toxic sound. The bell of our ancestors where it's felt. Passing through the gates where we are taken to a higher realm. So no one wants to hear all that toxic sound. The bell of our ancestors where it's felt. Passing through the gates where we are taken to a higher realm. So no one wants to hear all that toxic sound. The bell of our ancestors where it's felt. What up? My boy Ka. Bienvenido and welcome. Welcome everybody. Just excited to come on. It's Sunday, and I know everybody's having a beautiful, beautiful experience like I am. I woke up again. I showed it on my Facebook, but I woke up to I got excuse me, got a little cold. I was outside. Woke up to some snow. And right now it's still drizzling and snowing at the same time. So it's going to get ugly out there. If any of y'all know, you know what I'm saying? You're from up north, you know how it gets, especially when it starts raining and snowing at the same time. Man, that slush, it can get a little dangerous too, man. I'm watching cars slither. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's the season that we're in right now. I haven't snowed here. I haven't seen snow like this in North Carolina. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I haven't seen this in almost 3 to 4 years. 3 to 4 years. You know what I'm saying? Which is cool. Let me see who's in my Facebook, because I broadcast simultaneously to Facebook and to YouTube. So let me see if I can bring it up over here. That way I can address people. Well, I finally got one comment over here, and Rahubat. Maasha Shere Rahubat Boricua sister. Well, I'm about to say big sister. So okay, here I am. And it's a little delay. But that's cool. So let's get at it. So before I start, hey, listen. I'm studying the Sabiic language. I'm studying that culture, Saba, you know what I'm saying, which means seven, those seven kingdoms. Those seven kingdoms that also came out of the Ma Confederation. And I'm going to speak to you about that very soon. We're going to bring that up. The Ma Confederation, those kingdoms predates ancient Kemet. You know what I'm saying? This is a lineage. This is a kingdoms that were all throughout, the Nile Valley. And so you woke up to high winds and it was 44 degrees. Wow. And Daytona. Wow. That's interesting. But yeah. That's the season. Time's changing. Things are shifting. And we're going to speak about that also, about, the supercontinent. You know what I'm saying? Because we're going to I have questions, and I'm going to read you a couple of things. But before I get started, bear with me. Before I get started, I do want to, hold on a second. I am going to chant, and not only chant, recite my affirmation, the affirmation. And in the Sabiic language, it's called Pa Tak Yud. Pa Tak Yud. Okay? And it's a Sabian language, it's what we do. We study. You know what I'm saying? This is my affirmation. I'm going to say in Mispatia, which is Sabiic, and then which I'm studying. I'm studying every day and trying to learn words, Madat, words, of the Sabiic, Mispatia, Lahaj, language, So this is the affirmation. It's called, in the Sabiic, we say Pa Tak Yud. And it says, Anuki Jawef Pa Ashuk Impa Paut. I am in the divine love of the all expanding. Wukale Ashuk Kawung Jawef Niya. And all the divine love, that divine love is in me. Anuki Kwasam Impa Paut. I am part of the all expanding. Wupa Paut Kawun Kwasam Imniya. And the all expanding is part of me. Anuki Wahu Ame Papaut. And I am one as the all expanding. Wupapaut Kawun Wahu Ame Niya. And the all expanding is one as me. Nukwador Naja Ame Kwasau Impapaut. I can succeed as part of the all expanding. Wo habab ame mush khas un, and fail as an individual person. Nakukador kawan kala pafa nakukdayor jawef pa paut. I can be all that I want. I can be all that I want in the all expanding. Wasa dayarni kawun lake bakai jawef pa paut. As long as my want is to stay in the all expanding. Anuki jabe bi nafashni. I'm never by myself. Pa paut kawun anuki. And the all expanding is I am. Pa paut kador nuka kador kwador. And the all expanding I can. Pa paut amul nakuk almul. The all expanding does I do. I'm just gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? Just so we can get into it right now. So excuse me 1 second. So that is the affirmation in the Sabik language. That's some Saba. You got from Yemen, you got a mixture of this Yemen, the horns of Africa, right around there. You know what I'm saying? We're going to discuss that one day. I'm going to bring this out. Raul Bat, my brother Alex Rivera, pleasure. So, it's interesting that, we, at this time right now, language is important, especially if you claim to want to, if you claim that you want to connect with sources, you know what I'm saying? So when you deal with sources and tone, vibrations, and language, it has a source. And a lot of them sources could be traced back into the Nile Valley. It is what it is. You got to recognize, right? Raul Bat, Zamao, Raul Bat. Raul Bat. Everyone's on here. Pleasure. So, let's get it in. Questions. And I'm going to save the art of deception for a little bit. But I want, this is discussions that's going on now in YouTube. YouTube seems to be the place for discussions, you know what I'm saying? And shout out to my brother for Esoteric TV. Subscribe to that channel. I'm featured on there. I did a couple of I had a couple of discussions on that brother's channel, and the brother just called me and says getting great reviewed and great comment. People do appreciate it, and so I'm honored that I'm able to reach out like that, especially to the brothers and sisters in the UK and other brothers and sisters around the world. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna go into that. We're gonna go into that. So the question is that came up, so the sisters came on. So she hold dear to her, instead of saying Native American, she says American Indian. Okay. So it's just a matter of the word you choose to describe yourself. So she happened to describe herself as American Indian, right? Some brothers can take that and they can unpack it and play, and use semantics, use definitions, and you can see, what I'm saying, analytical thinking, what I'm saying, and impact it and really get into that. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, we are speaking an English language. And a lot of times we speak a language that they really don't understand. You know what I'm saying? We only carry our own understanding of things. But when it comes to reaching out to people around you, seeing how you can create that affinity, which is the likeness to that person, create a reality, create that connection, that communication, you got to also be aware of the definitions that's out there, what definitions they carry. You know what I'm saying? That's why, if you notice, I always try to get into the definitions of a word, right? If you're going to make a claim, let's get into the definition. Let's see what kind of definitions are out there. And then we got to see what kind of definition you adhere to. So we can at least gain a reality, gain a likeness, so that we can open up the lines of communication. Because other than that, we're not going to communicate if we don't do that. So, you know what I'm saying? We have to define words. We have to define concepts. Those words have to be defined. And then we have to not lean on our own definitions. We have to lean on the definitions of a particular language that is spoken, right? We got to go to the source of things. And then we got to look at how each of us, what kind of definitions we holding on to. And then if you're honest and you're truthful, you have those morals and ethics, and you're honest and you're truthful, then you'll be able to recognize and create that reality with the person. It says, oh, okay, this is the definition. Okay. So that's very important. You see, but then again, that's how I do things. And that's how I've been taught. And that's how I had seen other scholars that I hold dear to doing that. What's up, my bro? Dirty Bronx native, man. Peace. You know what I'm saying? So it's important. It's so important for definitions. If you're speaking Spanish, you got to define it in the Spanish, in the Latin, and you got to take this to the source. If you're speaking English, German, whatever you're speaking to has to be defined. But I see that a lot of people lean to their own understanding, but not being aware. And then that brings me to this. The illusion, the art of deception. You see, we're being deceived that we are separate from this big reality. You know what I'm saying? We're eluded by an illusion to think that we're separate from humanity, from the solar system, you know what I'm saying? From this galaxy. We're being taught that we are different. That's dimensional. Instead of expansion, contracting to and there's nothing wrong with that. But you got to understand that even you got the ocean and you're dropping the ocean, you still have that ocean inside that drop. You know what I'm saying? So even if you try to separate, you got to understand that you still have that multiverse, that transcendental mind, that thinking, it still exists within yourself. You can't separate yourself from nature. You can't separate yourself from humanity. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at certain, where it all come from, that's right. It all come from the multitude. And then you say to yourself, what came first, the dot, right? Or the multiple of dot? That's a question. Because again, we're taught to think critically, and we don't understand that it's all the same. It's all the freaking same. That dot is of the multiple of dots, and those multiple of dots are consisting of each one a dot. You know what I'm saying? It's again an illusion, because this planet, right? This is life, this planet, as I say, life is an illusion. This planet is being, the rules is, the art is of deception overseas, I'm trying to find the right way to explain it. It is one of the biggest law. It is the law of this galaxy that we know, right? That we know. Why? Because we see it play all around us. And one of the illusion is separating ourselves from the all. You can't separate yourself from the all. That's why I did that affirmation. We are part of the all, and the all is part of us. But you're not separating yourself because you're understanding that you are in the all, which is the all in the all is natural nature. Humanity, the stars, the suns, all natural nature. So again, that's the illusion that we're under. Do we think we're separate? Separate. That's right, Dirty Bob. This is some seriously shit. You know what I'm saying? I had those feelings when I ingest shrooms. Well, you know, there are sciences and chemicals that's enhance your DMTs and stuff like that, so you're able to have that. It's true. That is so true. Ayahuasca, shrooms, and stuff like that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Some people need it, and some people do that. You know what I'm saying? But there are also sciences that that you just But I don't want to go there. But that's interesting. But yeah. So the art of deception. So here's the thing now. So let's look up. So the question is about the sister, and leaning to the American Indians, right? So she mentioned her tribe. Now, you can have historical records. You know what I'm saying? Like I could know my grandmother and this and then I could know that what area of the island of Borinquen she's from, and that area, what the Taino call that area. And so you can make you could follow that line, that vein, that genetic vein and lineage vein. And that's so good. That's so good. But it's come to a point that you can't go further. You really don't know. You don't know. We really don't know where humanity, where the first humans came from, because we weren't there. If you separate yourself, you understand? If you're caught under that illusion, you're not going to know. Now, here's the thing. As we start asking questions, we start developing, and people start going to certain areas, universities that has the opportunity to go into certain places and study certain sciences, right? They're coming up with certain hypotheses. They're coming up with certain theses and hypotheses and theories that we can follow that line of reasoning, intelligence, right? So I asked the question because I've done some reading. So I asked this question. You subscribe to the Choctaw or whatever you are, Cherokee or whatever Indian you are, the Caribbean thing, right? So do you trace it back to the Mayans? What predates those tribes? Because they traveled and they broke up and they became tribes. The Creek became Creek because they settled around the creeks of Georgia and the Creek of Alabama, those creeks. Then you got the Muskogee, you got the Sioux, you had all these different tribes. But when they trace their lineage back and they look into archaeology or anthropology, and they look at these tribes, they see that they have a similarity, right? So they were able to trace it back, right? Now, this is done in New Mexico, the Institute, and I'm going to bring up some papers on that. So when you study and you see that the Mayans predates the Inca, and then you got the Inca, the Mayans, right? And you have, the Mayans, the Inca, the Thule, and there's some other one that predates, right? So now you got these tribes. Now, where do they trace their ancestry to? Right? Where? So you got questions that were asked by university students. So they went into these, they started to go out and do the work in archaeology. It's going out. So in Mexico, they unearthed, right? In the Yucatan area and Mexico and even part of Peru, they unearthed what they call the big Olmecs heads that weighs many, many tons. It baffled them. These are anomalies. These are unexplained things. Like These, then they look at the features, right? They look at these features. And so they have come to the conclusion to carbon basing data through looking at the similarities in the agriculture in the area, doing genetic, now with the DNA forensic science. So they're looking at this and they're saying, and then they're even going to the records of the Mayans. The Mayans recorded their history. They had calendars. They had almost 8 different calendars. They recorded their history just like the ancient Kemetic did. Same thing. Recorded their story and their lineage, right? So when you look at the Olmecs, right, and you carbon based, and you do all the scientific work and everything. So they come to the conclusion that the Olmecs predated the Mayans, and the Mayans saying that they came from the Olmecs people, the Olmecians. Olmecs. Why would they call Olmecs Olmecians, and where did they come from? Right? Let me bring something up to you. Hold on 1 second. Let me get it ready. Wait a minute. Let me make sure I got this right. Let me make sure that I have this right. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Okay. I'm going to show you the heads right now. Hold on 1 second. So share screen. Okay. So take this. I'm going to share this for a minute. Because this is on my file over here. Let me see. Let me go. Momento. Jesus, okay. I don't know if I should do it like this. You know what? Hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can do it. Is it like this? Yeah, here we go. Here's one of the heads of the Olmecs. Okay? You see that? Make sure you can see that. Yeah. These are one of the heads of the Olmecs. Right? So they see him with the lips, the nose, right? Right? See that? Oh, hold on 1 second. Let me keep on here a second. Oh, sorry about that. 1 second. Yep. Here goes another one. Here you go. You know what I'm saying? You can see that. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if I can extend it. There you go. Okay? Here's another one. These are the heads that they have in Mexico. You know what I'm saying? That they put them in the museums. These were unearthed heads. Now, bear with me. Here goes another one. I want you to look at the phenotype. Okay? I want you to look at, let's see if I could extend this a little higher. Oh, sorry about that. Okay. I want you to look at the phenotype. Look at that. Okay? Pay attention to this. This is what they noticing about these Olmecs. Okay? And how it relates to the Mayans, the Inca, right? Because they see the phenotypes, right? They seen the agriculture around that area where they unearthed this. They see the linguistics. Oh man, I'm gonna save that. So, but here now, there's a consensus. Who were these Olmecs? Who were they? Who? Oh, well, look at this one. Look at the features. Okay? Right? Who were they? Now, the sister said, well, they sure weren't African because there's no Africans that look like these people. This is what she told me. You can go on Sonata on that particular discussion. There is no, even Brother Reggie, I'm surprised at him because I'm like, what? There is no people that look like this? That don't have these features? Really? Hello. Then let me do this. Look at this. See that? Look at these people. Look at their features, bro. You know who they are? Do you know who these people are? These are your Khoi and your San people in Africa. Your San people in Africa. Okay? Look at their features. Look at those head. So the similarity. Now, I don't know. I don't know. All I'm trying to do is look at the similarity. Compare. First of all, when you make a statement like that, you're wrong. Because they are those phenotypes that are on those blocks, on those stones, in Peru, in Mexico, in La Venta, in the Yucatan, right? You go to Brazil, right? You even look at some of the time, you see the similarity, phenotype, and also I'm not going to bring in genetics with the haplogroup. We're going to save that. Yeah, that's a secret weapon. But look at them, okay? So, you're wrong, sister. You're wrong. You don't know. Look. Look at the features. Look at the features. Huh? You tell me. So that leads to another question: is how the hell did they get there? How did it? If there's a similarity and they share the same ancestry, then there's other questions. What kind of technology? Look at this. Look at this feature. Look at this. Hello. Look at that. You know what I'm saying? Questions. Question. Who are these people, bro? Who are they? Hey, look, my relative, Vern Vondo. That's right. They're the San people. So the sister made a false claim of, you know what I'm saying? And to somebody that studies and know, we would think that's ridiculous, sister. Because those Olmecs, their phenotype, and you can see it in Mexico with Mexicans or Peruvian, those phenotypes are found within the San people, who scientists says have the oldest genetics, human genetics existing to this day. So we got to ask the question. Look at that, the similarity. And you got to be like, yo, what's going on here? You know what I'm saying? Now, these are Olmecs predates. These are the parents of the Mayans, parents of the Aztecs and the Incas. Because this is on their records. They're telling you this. You know what I'm saying? They telling you this themselves. And then when you look at the Olmecs and you see the similar, this comparison, you compare them. They don't look European. They don't look like North Africans, right? They don't look like Sumerians, but they do look like San and Khoi people. There's a similarity there. And then, bro, I'm going to say that because this is just an introduction about the migrations and how that might have happened. We don't know. We weren't there. We don't know. But there are ways to find at least a logical comparison using deductive reasoning, and logical, sound right reason. There are ways to find things out. Investigation. There's ways, through sciences, you know what I'm saying? Through sensing ability to reason things out, analytical skills. You know what I'm saying? So you can't make that claim no more. So people have a problem. And that's, again, the art of deception. They deceive you. You see, because that's one thing about deceptions is the illusions and also lies. And so they caught up on this. You know what I'm saying? Because, again, they separated themselves from the all humanity. They separated themselves. That's just it. So, um, there are papers talk about the Olmecs and who were the Olmecs. Let me see if it's on here. Oh, man, I don't know if it's on here. Jesus. Oh man, there's so much information. Even when you look at the San people and the Khoi people, and then you look at also the languages that develop. Oh man, that's why I'm going into the Sabiic language and the Mande language. Bro, you can help. You cannot help but to make a logical consensus and conclusion. You cannot help but to put these pieces together, and you're saying, wow, wow, I'm looking at something here. There's books all over the world. China got the bamboo book that tells a history, I-text, Toltecs, the Anasazi, the ancient one. The Anasazi tells you where they're coming from. Yo, the Anasazi, deep. You got the Mayans. Look at the Olmecs. You know what I'm saying? Let me read you this. I don't know what you can get out of this. Yeah, let me read you this. Okay, let me share this. Share screen. Let me see here. Here, share this. Look at this. This is about the Olmecs, about 1200 BC to about 100 BC. This is their calculations. I'll bring in the paper. This is from a master of fine arts. He's a writer, so he put things together. You know what I'm saying? So in Mesoamerica, the first permanent villages like the Osco, the Tiancang, the Asaka were established around 2000 BC. And the first pottery, they got pottery that dates back to 300 BC, well before the Olmecs formed the first major civilization. They got pottery that goes all the way back. If any of the group were that deserved the label the mother culture or the mother civilization of the Mesoamerica, it is the Olmecs on the Mexican Gulf Coast. That's the mother culture, the mother civilization of Mesoamerica, right? Tribes evolved into complex social structures, craft, handiwork, evolved into art, architecture on both refined and colossal scales. Ritual involved into seminal numbers and calendar system into glyph writing, all of which were to blossom at Mayan sites over the next century. Agriculture involved into a network of trading partners. Indeed, the flowering of culture influenced the other cultures to spring up in the Mesoamerica. Among them were the Mayans, the Toltec, the Aztec, as well as other people as far as north and south. Like most Mesoamerican civilization to follow, Olmec society was theocratic with fixed classes of priests, bureaucrats, merchants, craftsmen based in the community center. In terms of artifacts, the Olmecs were most famous for the mammoth basalt heads, some as heavy as 20 tons, as well as for statuette of jade, terracotta, and stones with cat-like baby faces, the heads for which the Olmecs dragged overland and floated in by rafts. Huge quality of basalt were possibly representative of chiefs and kings dressed in a headgear for ceremonial ball games. Okay? Because of linguistics and cultural ties between the Olmecs and the Mayans, and because it is not known what became of the Olmecs after the cultural decline, some scholar hypothesize that they migrated southeastward and were the direct ancestors of the Mayans. Okay? And then you got the Mayans. Okay? So again, this is paper. And let me just bring something up here. So this is from the Africans in the Americas, Our Journey Through the World, a long American journey throughout the world, our history, short stop in America. This is by Sabas H. Whitaker, who is a master of fine arts. Okay. And if you Google him, you can find out who he is. To understand our struggle, we must first know who we are, where we've been. Okay. Yeah. So, okay. And this is New York, Lincoln, and Shanghai. So this is incorporated. You see that, all right? And you see the, okay? And this is the printed in the United States of America. Okay? So this is a book that you can read. Okay? This is works that this man did. When you study writing, you have to do investigative work, and you have to provide your bibliography. There's certain process that go with it, and your reference and stuff like that. So, you can go further, deeper into this, if you choose to do that, But, CeeLo's, I appreciate you, mi hermano. I appreciate you too. So, the question is, so if everybody get out of Reggie, who are the Olmecs? Oh, that's if they try to say, oh, it's fictional, that's not true. The Olmecs in it. Bro, let me bring something up here. Where do I have it? Let me see. Where do I have it? Okay. Well, yes, I'm not even gonna go there. I'm gonna leave it for part 2. Right. They always say source up. Well, I got the sources from New Mexico, the Institute of what is it? Archaeology. Some people do that work. You can go into the University of Mexico in their archive and see the work that those archaeologists did. Those are the sources. You know what I'm saying? Those are sources that to tell you. That's who. So the question is, do you know who the Olmecs were? Because you were living here in America area, right? And you claim to be Native American. Well, that's Mesoamerica. Do you know who these Olmecs were? Do you know? You know what I'm saying? If you really want to get to the source of things, source up, well, get to the source. Do you know? Immediately they get them out of here. Get them. They didn't want me to stay in there. Because I would have been like, well, let me come on in and let me show you these sources. Let me show you, because I'm not just saying this because I'm just saying it, man. I got to read too. I got to make sure that the uploads that I receive, that it's in line, that it's confirmed. Everyone has to do that. You know what I'm saying? If you're a thinker, right? And you, when you sleep and you wake up like, what I did, uploads. You get uploads. Remember I said that in blackness, right? In silence, all the possibility of anything can exist is in there. And sometimes you're able to tap onto that. So are there any connection from the Inuit in Alaska and the Olmecs? Great question. That is something that we have to also look at, because what you're saying is, who are the Inuits in Alaska? All right, and you look at so you're tracing it back to Asia, right? And then you have to look at the connection. But now there's a connection between Asia and the San people. You know what I'm saying? You also have to look at the genetics of these Alaskans, where they're coming from. Who are they? How do they travel? And then if they're traveling down, are they becoming Olmecs? No. Because if you look at the Alaskan, the Inuits, and you look at their genetics and their haplogroup genetics, they're different than the Olmecs and Mexicans. They carry a similar, because yes, they were the what they call the Shai dynasty, that were travelers and conquerors, and they're coming down. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't only come through Alaska. They also had the capability of traveling through the Pacific Ocean and reaching area like Peru and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You have to take that into account also. All right? And then you got to take into account. Now, this is very tricky. You got to be very careful about this. When you look at the Antarctica, you know what I'm saying? If you look at the tip of South America and you look at the tip of Africa, of course, the tip of Africa is further away from Antarctica, right? But you got to ask yourself the question, were there ancient people that were able to come to Antarctica, stop at Antarctica, and then travel into South America? That's another theory that they have out there. It's another theory. So you have to impact and you got to look at it. You got to look at it. So as far as the Alaskans, yeah, I think the Alaskan coming down might have influenced a lot into Canada and a lot into the northern part, right? But now we're talking about the southern part, South America, where the Olmecs were found in South America. Look at that. The Siberian Russians and I had an ice bridge that connected at one point. I read it. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I never read that, and I don't know. But it's a possibility that there was some type of migration going on. Yeah. Especially to Alaska, so close to Russia. And then, let me bring something up to you, too. And let me bring this up to you. Let me see. Hold on a second. And I'm just going to introduce this, but then later on, we're going to really go into this. This is super, super important. Super, super important. Because this is, let me tell you. Let me share my screen a minute. This is so super important, and we're going to have a discussion about this because people claim, oh yeah, that's pseudo. When scientists, pseudo, this is called, actually, let me show you where this is well, the beginning. Well, so that was page 28. Okay, let me show you the beginning of the book, right? Sorry. Let me show you the beginning of the book. This book is entitled, okay, oh, wait a minute. This book is entitled The Fourth Edition of the Plate, Tectonic, and Crustal Evolution by Kent E. Conde, right? Talks about, plate tectonic and crustal evolution. This is a science. And this is from the New Mexico Institute of Mining and Technology. Okay? New Mexico Institute of Mining and Technology. And this is Kent C. Conde, right? Published in 1976 and on and off. It's in the British Library cataloging and public publication data, and also in the Library of Congress. You can find this. All right? Now, look at page 28. Because this is something that also some brothers, especially somebody, pseudo. Okay. The pseudo is derogatory. It means ingenuine, right? But this is science. And look, this is science of using equipment to measure the crust, to measurement of the plate velocity, okay? Okay, geomagnetism, the plate driving forces. These are the velocities of continental plates. This is science. Science, actual practical science of using devices to measure, all right? And now look at this. Let me bring this up like this. Supercontinent. Although continent drift was first suggested in the 17th century, it did not receive a serious scientific investigation until the beginning of the 20th century by Wegener in the 1912. It's usually considered the first to have formulated the theory precisely and to have suggested the existence of a supercontinent. What is a supercontinent? It is a large continent that includes several of all of the existing continents today. Those 7 continents you see today. Okay? Wegener pointed out The close match of opposite coastlines and continental and regional extent of the Permo or the Carboniferous glaciation in the southern hemisphere. Now, if you keep reading on, right, on and on and on, Precambrian crustal province also provides strong evidence for continental drift and of the existence of the continental in the early Mesozoic. Okay? Look at this next one. Let's look at it. Pangaea. So they reconstructed the Pangaea, a supercontinent which formed around 450 to 320 millions of years and fragmented to about 160 million, right? Also shown a major organs are formed during collision, right? Occurrence, okay, so and so and so. So the youngest was Pangaea, which formed between, it tells you 450 and 320, right? Pangaea began as a fragment about 160 and still dispersing today. Although new supercontinent may be beginning to form as major continent collision have occurred in the last 100, right? Like in what's happening in India and Tibet collision. Ganawa is the southern hemisphere of the supercontinent, what they call Ganawa, which includes principally of South America, Africa, Arabia, Madagascar, India, the Antarctica, and Australia. Okay? This is Pangaea here. You're looking at it. Right? Right? Then you have here Ganawa. Let me bring it up. Okay? Look at Ganawa, those plates. Right? And remember, you're looking at it from, they taught us to look at it differently. You got the opposite, the Congo, the opposite, Antarctica, the Congo. So this is, then you have, people don't know, Rodinia. We consider a supercontinent which formed, right? Fragment, modified. Rodinia. Okay, let's look at that continent. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you study on further, they're saying that during this time when all of this is happening, there were no human life. Of course, there were human beings, but were there other existence of life on it? You know what I'm saying? Were there movement of organism? Were there movement of Homo erectus? The Amphithecus and all. You know what I'm saying? All, how the primates developed, and also humanity, the humans, the Homo sapiens. So what are they saying when all this is happening? That there were no people existing. But so then where do people come from? Humanity. Where did it come from? Where do human beings, human sapien come from? Somebody said, poof, and they were just here? Or were there an evolution, an origination, evolutional process, and revolving back and on and on and on? You know what I'm saying? You got to ask that. But that's going deep into something else. I'm not going to do that here. You know what I'm saying? Because then I'm going to read you. That's right. Pangaea. You got Pangaea, Ganawa, and Rodinia. You know what I'm saying? These scientists were able, doing mining, were able to go into the core, go into the earth, and do the work. Seismic technology. They were able to look at the core. They were able to look, bro, that's science. Analytical skills. They were able to do comparisons. They were able to take these devices. Now, what they did with the Olmecs is carbon dating. You know what I'm saying? Look in the environment. Forensic science now are beginning to reveal things with just the earth, the agriculture, the earth, what these mammoth statues were found. They're able to go into the earth and extract genetic material with forensic science. But then again, a lot of people, they don't want to hear that. They don't want to acknowledge science. They don't want to acknowledge, they just don't want to. Hey, what's up, Lamar? They just do not want to do that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, well, we really don't know. We really don't know, because we didn't, you know what I'm saying? We really don't know. But we are curious that we use science and we use, a sense of reasoning to investigate and to see things. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? So maybe, this is just introduction. Later on, we're gonna impact it. We're gonna really look at these Olmecs. We're gonna really look at evolutions. We're gonna look at these races of humans. We're gonna see where their migrations going on. Were they able? Did they have the capability of traveling through the waters? At what point were they able to build ships or canoes? At what point were they able to travel? Did the Olmecs also, obviously, they're saying that the Olmecs had the capability of traveling, nautical science. They had the capability because they say they were able to use ships or barges or ships to transport the basalt from certain areas in South America into Mexico by using the water. So that's the clue. Well, wait a minute. If they're able to transport, right? If they're able to do that, then they had to have the ability. That's right, Bando. They had the ability to transport through water, through the waters, through rivers, through currency, current. Like they say, the Africans didn't have the ability to travel because they, bro. If you don't study oceanography, first geological oceanography, that's a science about the plates that we just looked into. Then you have what they call oceanography and studying about the currents. And if you study the currents, it's easy to travel from Africa into South America and the Caribbean. Very easy. It's easy to travel from South Africa to the tips of South America because there's currents there. Also, currents that people are curious. People want to go traveling. So we got to look at this. Just like we do it today. What do you think they didn't have the capability of doing it back then? I could show you where shipbuilding goes all the way back to ancient Kemet. They had these ships with sails. So I don't know what Uncle West was talking about, that the sail wasn't developed until the European. That's bullshit, because they actually have artifacts on the wall, that shows ships and the ancient Kemetic people are having the capability to put sails and cross into the Indian Ocean and horns. You know what I'm saying? Capability of traveling with sails, ship. The Taínos coming from Brazil, the Amazon, had the capability through these canoes, big canoes, to putting 100 people on there and traveling all the way up those little islands, the Lesser Antilla to the Greater Antilla. They had the capability of doing that, of traveling through the waters. Traveling through waters. We are beings that came from the waters. So what do you think? We couldn't master the waters? Everything around us is water. It's just dense. It's not dense. It's fine water. So yeah, we don't have the capability to master that? Question. So this whole thing with the Olmecs, first of all, science is proven, genetics is proven, science is proven through agriculture, through artifacts and everything, archaeology, anthropology. They're proving that the Olmecs are the parents of the Mayans, Aztecs, and the Toltecs, right? These Olmecs. And these Olmecs had the capability of doing many things. And then when you look at the phenotype of these, you look at the phenotype of the Olmecs, you find it also in Africa and in Asia. And of course, the Asians already know that phenotype and all that comes from Africa. They know that. The Asians know that. You You can't deceive the Asians because they'll tell you in a minute. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They have records. The bamboo records. They have records that let them know. Well, that's where the whole Sambu come from and all that, and the Nagas and stuff like that. Asiatic people, but they trace their descendants back into the continent that was known today as Africa and the Nile Valley, Uganda and those areas, South Africa, Mozambique and those areas. They know that. You can't fool them. But over here in the Western Hemisphere, what's going on? You know? And like I said, it's important in a way because it's you know, like I said, this planet, the art of deception, this planet is ruled by this particular, we're being deceived and illusion all the time. All the time. Nothing wrong with it. It's just a fact of life. You know, when you got the moon out, the moon deceives us. The energy of the moon deceives us. That's a fact of life. That's the balancement of illusion and reality, truth and lie. It's a balancement. You know what I'm saying? But they don't like when you expose that. People don't like when you expose that. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes you can create some type of illusion that is beneficial to people. You know that. Yes, you can. Take an example. Doesn't harm. Magic sometimes can be unharmful and can be very, very entertaining. Right? I know a brother that was a magician used to put a cloth over a plate and go whoop, and cookies would appear, and the kids would be like, let's have some cookie, and they ate the cookie, and it created a happy environment by using a form of deception and using a magical trick. You know what I'm saying? And there have been people that use the art of deception just to teach us certain lessons so that we don't become deceived, or at least become aware of how deception works, and we can work our way through it. But anyway, man, almost here an hour. I'm going to keep it short. I'm going to keep it short. Oh man, peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. Assalamu alaikum. Ishmael, Samuel Harris, my elder. Yeah. So I'm gonna keep it short here. I got something to do. But you know, those are questions, discussions. You know, I really don't want to get into it because it's like they always, you know, it's like this. You got to be tolerant to people's differences. They always gonna try to come up with something. But I'm gonna tell you something though. Enough of the bull crap. Like I said, you wake up a sleeping giant, you're gonna get that. You know what I'm saying? And this is say hi to my little friend. Because enough is enough, man. Let's be for real. Enough is enough. We don't know. Have you read Gerald Massey? Of course. Yes. Yes, I read Gerald Massey. Interesting. We can even go into that. But let me tell you something. We really don't know. You know what I'm saying? But there are certain, and I'm going to talk about that later. It might be a little bit of far reach, but I want you just to think about it. There are characters and personality, they call spirit beings, that have lived in those areas that you can contact through intelligence, what they call sound, right, reason, and intelligence. You can get these uploads that would give you yeah, my little friend, that's right, like that. That can give you directions and ideas and concepts, because we really don't know what happened. We really don't know. Remember, that's unseen. But we can bring it into the scene by being evidence, experimenting it, evidence, and reasoning it out. Using the skills of reasoning like deductive reasoning, deductive reasoning, right? Sound right reasoning, circular reasoning, you know what I'm saying? And learning how to distinguish what's logical fallacies and how that, you know what I'm saying? So there are ways for us to gain, because like Tahuti, a master at the art of deception, said everything is half truth. But If you gotta have truth, I gotta have truth. We gotta put those pieces together. If it fits perfectly together, what is in Spanish, it's a rompecabezas, encaja perfectamente, encaja. It fits together, then you can come to a truth. But if it doesn't fit, al contrario, it doesn't fit, then you get conflict, and it doesn't fit. It's falsehood. It's falsehood. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that, everyone, not hope, I know that everybody's going to get it. Because I'm beginning to get it. I'm just like you. I don't know. But I'm beginning to think about it. I'm beginning to get it. And I'm beginning to share it. You know what I'm saying? I'm beginning to do what I was sent to do. Again, my belief, what my spirit and character personality is sent to do. Right? I got to be myself. I gotta be honest and truthful. And I gotta see your truth. And I gotta be able to mix it up with not only my truth, but other half truths that's out there. Right? I gotta match it up. I gotta see where it's at. You know what I'm saying? Does this make sense? Does it make common sense? You know what I'm saying? Does it have that sense of reasoning within it? And that's very, very, very important. You know what I'm saying? Very, very important. I've been on this journey for 41 years I've been out there teaching 41 years. But before that, I've been on a journey of asking certain questions. You know what I'm saying? Because remember, I come from the paradigm of the young lords and that whole revolutionary and asking questions. And I'm a very inquisitive child. Very a little kind of like nosy. You know what I'm saying? But I wanted to know these questions. I wanted to go further. And so it's an honor and pleasure for me to share to you my half-truth, my findings, things that I'm reading, things that I'm experiencing, it's things that I'm experimenting with and that I'm experiencing. And I want to know. I want to make sure that we're good. We're good. You know what I'm saying? If I'm good, everybody around me is good. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to share. I'm going to share that knowledge because that's the way I was taught. You know what I'm saying? By my master teacher. Our master teacher is to share. You know what I'm saying? It's to go into the school of thought, impact it, be respectful, impact it, and ask the logical questions so as two people could create an affinity, a likeness, a reality, so we can have good communication, right? And we could be at each other. Yes. Volume 1, Natural Genesis one day. Yes. Let's do that. One day. What I'll do on the next one, I will put in the link. People could come in. If they don't have to put on, I would like them to have the camera because I don't want to get bombarded. I don't want trolls to come up in here. Put on your camera, and then after a certain, couple of seconds, a minute, that I know who you are, then you turn your camera off. You know what I'm saying? If you choose to do that. But we can have these discussions also. If you're on my Facebook, or I could put up a number, you can call it and we can have this conversation. We could definitely have this conversation and see what you have, and let's put the pieces together, you know what I'm saying? And have a good communication and dialogue, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, there's questions, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of times they don't want, I can see it. They don't want me because it's like, you know what I'm saying? Here we go again. And I notice it agitates certain brothers, like for instance, Brother Reggie, it agitates him because now he has to go in that bag. Oh, when I mentioned Irvin Van Sertima, well, he was my teacher, but he was wrong. Yeah, there is a discussion about Irvin Van Sertima and what he did. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's true. But at the end of the day, he was, I think, an archaeologist. He was a scientist. But yeah, he had his agenda. Just prove that. But still, there's other scholars we could look at. There's, we just have to put all the pieces all together and don't be afraid. And this is a shot, and this is a message to my brother Reggie. Do not be afraid to entertain or to view a perspective from another way. I do. I'm not afraid. You know what I'm saying? Don't be afraid to do that. That's very important. Very, very. That's having tolerance. That's being honest. That's truth seeking. You know what I'm saying? You can't know it all. You cannot know it all. What you know is just a piece of it. You got to make sure that you cannot separate yourself from the all. That's the problem here. So a lot of people are separating themselves from all of it. They got bits and pieces. They have truth, bits and pieces. So that's the illusion. You know what I'm saying? They can't look at the bigger picture. They cannot look at the bigger picture. And that's the problem. That's a huge, huge problem. You know what I'm saying? It's contracted. It's small. It's small. Small. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. You're bigger than that. You know? Anyway, peace and blessings to you all. I guess I'll do part 2. So in this introduction, we went into the Olmecs. You know what I'm saying? Question is, who, if you can do your stuff, try to see if you can Google or see what you have. Who were these Olmecs? Who were these Olmecs? And then we already debunked the fact that these Olmecs features, you could find them in Africa. Yeah. You could find them in Africa amongst the San and the Khoi people. You could find those same phenotype. It doesn't have to be the phenotype that you find in Siberia or Alaska. It could be a phenotype that you find in South Africa. And more of the phenotype of the Olmecs are concluded in comparison and resemble more of those Khoi and San people who have the oldest genetics on Earth. You get what I'm getting with that? You know? Okay, Bondo, call me tomorrow, Papa. You know what I'm saying? So we have to, you know, if you tell a lie, like I said, you're going to get caught out there. Because it's enough in 2022, we ain't having it. Enough is enough, carajo. Puñeta! Toma! Don't play. Don't play. Don't play. And I wanted to take it easy. That was a good looking sister. I like it. And I understand where she's coming from. But you just got a piece of it, baby. A piece of it. A piece of it. You're not honoring something else. How can you say that your melanated skin and that nose you had, no lips, and even those eyes are not compared or similar to those of your African brothers and sisters? How can you say that? That you have no connections with that? How can you say that? You know, all these people that claim to Aboriginal, and okay, you have a history. Even in the Caribbean, we know, but that's because we know that we got this mixture of African, we know that. But if you even look at the Tainos, those are Tainos, making the connection back to the Mayans or the Toli, they know. Olmecs, they know the connection with that continent they call Africa, which if you study oceanography, is stuck to the crust in the core of the earth that all the other continents shifted away. The plates shifted away, but that continent stuck in its original location and everything shifted away from it. But how important is that Nile Valley? How important is that continent to all humanity? To all humanity. And when you come to me and tell me, oh, I got nothing to do with that. I got nothing to do with Africa. I got nothing. Bro, you have nothing to do with humanity. Then what the hell are you, man? What are you? You some type of alien being that you came from another planet? Yo, what are you? Even the European knows. Even the European knows. And they trace it when they do their science, that they trace themselves back into the motherland. They even know that. Asians know that. Siberians know that. Sumerians knew that. India knows that. There's some people that don't know, and you find them all on those continents too. Don't get me wrong, but yo, the cradle, and it was together. So I'm not saying that only in that continent, but also when you look at the continents plate shifting and standing from Pangaea, the Ganawa, and Rodinia, you're looking at geography, oceanography, and geography. You're looking geographical evidence, and you see this connection. Even the lands knows this. You know what I'm saying? Because you're separating yourself. You're separating yourself from the all, the source of it all. So like they say, source up. Hey, you want a source up? Come on. Here's a source for you. Get to the source. Connect back to the source of it. And you see. And you see. Anyway, peace and blessings to you all. I love you. Dansihibui. In Taino, we say Dansihibui means I love you. Dansihibui. You know, Ashuk is divine love. Ashuk. And yeah. Peace and blessings to you. Okay, I'm out. Let me play you my. Nah, I ain't gonna do that. I'm just gonna end it here. And peace to you, native Bronx, dirty Bronx native. And listen, my Ashashagre, Barn Dog. What's up, Haley Miriam? What's up, my brother? Highly Celestes, Miriam. Yeah, man, my brother, Burn Dog. Yep. I thank everybody for coming through. And over here, my elder Samuel, Salama, yeah, Masalam, Hatat, Lamar, Waston, Hatat, Mukdal, Jisr, Kare, awesome. Hey, thank you. Tawu, Shukran. Okay? And peace and blessings to you all, man. I'm out.